So, I know that the world is in an absolute tizzy at the moment. I am aware that the police do not have the absolute best image right about now. So this video could possibly be regarded as insensitive, given my attire. So I'll address that all up front. A man has died at the hands of an officer who either had, at best, piss-poor judgment, and at worst, genuine homicidal intent. As a result, much of the world has gone completely insane. Whether it's justifiable or not is for a different video entirely, because this video right here, it's not aimed at dissecting the intricacies and the delicate complications surrounding the world's systemic problems regarding race relations and police brutality. This is not a defense of cops. This is not a defense of George Floyd. This is not a video that's going to focus on any of that aspect of the current world order. This is Thought Patrol, and here we patrol thoughts. That is all that we are going to do today. So you can take your pent-up angst elsewhere for now. Today's episode of Thought Patrol is simply to provide the police outreach program your local department will not fund. We're here to indulge our more humorous sides in favor of having a good old-fashioned laugh at some genuinely out-of-touch members of this here society that we live in. So, without further ado, let's begin with the discourse. Roughly 3 years ago, one of our corporate overlords, PepsiCo, funded a whole-ass commercial with the intention of shilling their name brand as the bridge between disagreeing parties and the Horn of Peace, calling loudly to the masses for to unify them all under our Lord and Savior, a brown, fizzy drink in a can. The advertisement in question begins with a peaceful protest, and our disconnected billionaire attending a photo shoot when all of a sudden a random guy gives her what I would regard as bedroom eyes, recruiting her to the cause. Removing her wig and makeup to blend in with the rest of our mere mortals in this video, she joins the protest. Our protagonist, La Queen, played by one Kendall Jenner, retrieves a Pepsi can from her loyal peasants and hands it to one of the police standing in a line watching on at the protesters, all for a perfectly candid photo op, I might add. The holy grail of Instagram posts, if you will, the candid shot is. That's what this is attempting to embody. And of course, it's not candid because it's absolutely staged. It's a commercial. All right, we're all aware. But the candid shot is typically what it is that Insta Thoughts gun for. And that's going to be kind of a running theme within our Thought Patrol episode today. The advertisement continues. Everyone cheers. World peace is achieved. There were never any more riots ever in the history of the world because we have Pepsi products now, ladies and gentlemen. It will be okay so long as we have Pepsi in stock at your local Walmart. I kid. In truth, the advertisement was panned universally by critics and pulled from the air, with Kendall Jenner issuing a teary apology for not seeing the error of her ways and judgment, and of course, Pepsi issued a statement as well, addressing their absolute disconnect from the plot. This advertisement is a rather tame introduction to what people have been referring to as performance activism, which upon Googling one comes to find refers to activism done to increase one's social capital rather than because of one's devotion to an actual cause. Some notable cases of this in action could be when you, for instance, change your profile picture on social media to a filtered version in solidarity. Brother. In Bethesda's case, when you do exactly that for certain country accounts, and even more notably, do not do that for certain other country accounts during Pride Month, this can tend to backfire. Sometimes performance activism can culminate into something as banal and mundane as the Blackout Tuesday of last week that we had, wherein organizers intended for people to disconnect from work and reconnect with their communities through an urgent step of action to provoke accountability and change. Don't ask me how that works. I have no idea. In doing this, they were asking people to commit to posting nothing but black boxes for their timelines all day long. Whether this really helped is anyone's speculation in truth. Personally, I don't think it did much in terms of aiding the cause, but there are those who definitely have criticized it as being a form of performance activism because Well, so while Kendall Jenner has in fact learned the error of her ways from 3 years ago, and of course do not allow photoshopped images from her fan pages to fool you otherwise, there are other wannabe influencers out there that have not exactly realized how this works. These influencers have not realized exactly how tacky, out of touch, and vapid it looks to use a protest, and in some cases, whole-ass riots as a photo opportunity to pad their Insta feeds. And, it's kind of hilarious, but in a very sad, morbid, unfortunate way. Today on Thought Patrol, we will be looking at a few exhibits of such occurrences in order of least offensive to the internet's delicate sensibilities to the most. Granted, this is not all of them from the event. I had to pick and choose because if I were going to do every single influencer that did performance activism, I would be here all goddamn day and we would never get out of this video. So as a result, I picked 4 of varying degrees and severity. By far the most innocent of the exhibits that I have to show you, this 22-second video clip from Wilzix, posted on the 1st of June, shows a woman posing for a photo opportunity in front of a march, a Black Lives Matter march.
Boyfriends of Instagram.
This is not necessarily all that heinous, in my opinion. Honestly, to me, it feels quite a bit like I'm watching tourists from a foreign country go about their vacation, memorializing the different things that they find interesting about being in said location. I would barely consider this to be performance activism, if at all, given that she doesn't have a sign herself and isn't going and doing anything to kind of prop up a narrative that she is being an active activist, but simply she's standing in front of a protest. This, to me, reads as simply the memorialization of a notable event to be looked back on upon years later as a footnote in one's own life history. I can't fault a person for that. I, too, take pictures of things that I find fascinating, not usually with me in the picture, but things that I want to remember, look back on. I have whole ass streams about my vacationing in different areas. Personally, I don't think that this is all that bad. But we are starting from 0 and working our way up to blatantly egregious. And there are those parties out there that think that Exhibit A denotes a level of disconnectedness that is worth criticism. This next exhibition, posted by Influencers in the Wild, which is a Twitter account completely dedicated to, well, influencers in the wild. Again, this is posted on June 1st, and it is of another woman having her picture taken in front of a smashed T-Mobile by her male companion, as can be heard in the audio from the video.
This girl is making her boyfriend take a picture of her in front of a smashed T-Mobile. Oh my god.
What I find intriguing about this picture, however, is the potential intention behind it. In actuality, this exhibit is where we go from possibly memorializing something to definitely seeking out that sweet, sweet Insta-clout, if you know what I mean. You cannot as easily say, oh, she is simply capturing the moment for to show grandbabies down the road. Because the pose she's making is of her back turned away from the camera, as if it were a completely candid shot. It's unintended to be a picture, but we got it anyway. Thank you, Mr. Photographer with the good eye. You just happen to be there. Or so we're meant to believe. There are so many examples of people having this exact kind of pose in pictures posted all over Instagram. It is almost its own category, if I'm being frank. So we know the intention isn't reserved for touristy scrapbooking-esque things. It is for the feed. As anyone who has ever come within spitting distance of an Insta-THOT, you know, those members of society so obsessed with their own image that they deem anything and everything as a potential photo opportunity, will tell you. But while we're here, I would like to point out to you the running theme of the photographer, usually a gentleman, counterparts in these exhibits, meaning that it's not simply one's personal misguided judgment we have to contend with, it's two whole-ass people we have to absorb the radiating vapidity from. Next, we have a video from the same account as previously posted on the 5th of June with a very obviously Instagram influencer holding up a BLM sign amidst the hustle and bustle of some undisclosed downtown space.
Oh no, look at her. This one.
And we know that this is an Instagram influencer because the internet autists did what they do best and matched the video presentation with a photo taken by one Rusa BNB. Shockingly, this post was not received very well, and the backlash that ensued resulted in an apology. Not really, because I don't think she actually says sorry, but apology. Hey guys, I went to the George Floyd protest yesterday in downtown LA and it didn't go as I planned. I took a few pictures since I'm a social media influencer / model. The backlash I have received has been overwhelming. First, I want to say that I have the utmost respect for the Black Lives Movement and all it stands for. I also have the biggest empathy for the unnecessary killing of George Floyd by the Minneapolis PD. I can also understand that I may not have chosen the best avenue to spread the message by doing a photo shoot after the peaceful protest, and I take full responsibility for that. I seriously believe that there is something very wrong with our society when so many people are calling for my public lynching, rape, execution, etc. just because of a few photos in the wrong context, which again, I take full responsibility for. I believe we need to re-examine our thoughts and comments that we are putting on social media. My intent was to spread the message the best way I know how, without hurting anyone, and show the world the peaceful protest that was happening in LA. In conclusion, I truly believe this level on intolerance and hate comments are detrimental to the movement and what we are all trying to achieve for Black and Brown communities. I hope we can all focus on the true cause as to why we are all here. Peace out. So a lovely sentiment. I get it, but it was not necessarily received well, as the picture was not received well, and subsequently Rusa BNB privated her account completely, so I don't have access to this, you don't have access to this unless you were following her before this, so. But what I think rings so clear and shiny in people's heads about the Instagram influencers on a typical day is the ingenuine nature of their work. Couple that with taking advantage of a hot button issue for the clout that it pulls in, and it's not a wonder that a spectacle such as this or this will inflame the masses. It should be noted that I do not condone the harassment that ensues as a result of influencers being caught red-handed being fake on the internet.com. But honestly, I don't know what on earth anyone else expects from Instagram thoughts other than this behavior. It's not shocking in the slightest, people. The lesson here is that looking for attention will get you attention. That's the good attention, the bad attention, and definitely the ugly attention. And speaking of ugly attention, that brings me to my last exhibit, and this one's a doozy. This one's the saddest one of them all. Truly, it is, I think. It's also the one that pissed most people off, I think, about this, and kind of sparked the conversation regarding this form of activism. Yu's post on the 1st of June exhibits the height of the issue that we're discussing here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really. Lol. Boyfriends of Instagram. Good job, guys. BLM.
By far, the snakiest, tackiest, most out of touch, vapid bullshit of creatures that I have ever seen. The woman you see before you, pretending to help a business owner board up his own business in protection against rioters before sneaking off safely away from any potential danger that would ensue from discourse in her Mercedes with her conspirator, is Fiona Moriarty McLaughlin, who is now a former commentary intern at the Washington Examiner, mind you, because she was fired for this very video not more than 24 hours after it went viral. Pretty good response time. This right here is some of the most top-notch, clout-chasing, disconnected bullshit I had ever seen in my entire life. And while it is so heinous, in my opinion, it isn't so much that the picture was taken that I take issue with. Had she actually been doing the work, just, had a genuine, candid shot taken of her, that wouldn't have bothered people. That wouldn't have bothered me. That wouldn't have given me a sour taste in my mouth. Because it would have been honest. It would have been truth. It would have been genuine. But it wasn't. That wasn't the case. This was a staged, candid photo op. Not a genuine one. And it is unabashed in its lying intent to be cast as truth to the unsuspecting people at large. To have the reality, the context of what would have been this picture so blatantly thrust upon us. To come to a realization that this is a person who fully intended to mislead with a picture. And that we never would have suspected anything contrary to the narrative being proposed in this picture, were it not for such a damning video, is kind of jarring. Don't you agree? But more than that, I mean, it's an outrage. It is peak nasty. It is peak disgusting. It is peak ass gross. All of the peaks. The fakeness in the pursuit of performance activism. Clout. For the sake of clout and not because you want to be genuine about shit. Makes it, honestly, the most disgusting thing that I've seen in quite a bit of time. And yes, I am including the Invader V thing. Because this is a lie. Invader V was being brutally honest. But this, I will not abide.